Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Outlaw Alchemy, the podcast where we take the red pill, chase it with sweet tea, and then realize the red pill might actually be a jalapeno. I'm Jack, your resident Texas knucklehead who still thinks quantum is just a fancy way of saying really small truck. And sitting across from me looking all zen and glowy is Rusty. Rusty, man, you're like if a redwood tree decided to grow feelings and start talking. Take us into the dark water tonight, brother. I already got goosebumps and we ain't even started.
Thank you, Jack. Hello, beautiful souls listening right now, wherever you are. Kitchen table at 2 a.m., car parked in some quiet lot, earbuds in while the world screams. Take one full, slow breath with me. In through the nose. Hold for 3. Out through the mouth like you're blowing out birthday candles you never got to wish on. We're going somewhere heavy tonight, but we're going together. And the light inside you is stronger than any shadow that's ever tried to rent space in your chest.
Man, you say that, and I feel like I just got hugged by Jesus and Bigfoot at the same time. Okay, straight talk. This one's from Steve Cates himself, that wild-hearted alchemist who wrote Echoes of Maldek and Lemuria's Reawakening. Grab it at divinecollectives.org if your soul starts vibrating like a tuning fork hit by a sledgehammer. Steve's higher collectives basically dropped this bomb. What a lot of deep researchers call Horus Ra ain't no random spook. It's straight up Orion Group designer evil, custom built.
Custom built is exactly right. The Orion Group, especially their Draco enforcers, don't waste energy on weak links. When they find a soul with certain markers, reptilian DNA echoes, hybrid past life imprints, or just the exact emotional frequency they can latch onto, they abduct, scan, and implant. Not a little entity. A 6th density parasitic architecture. Surgical. Invisible to most medical scans. Anchors usually at the sacrum or base of the spine, then sends black tendrils threading upward like ivy made of frozen fear. Once it's in, it stays. Decades. Lifetimes sometimes, feeding, steering, whispering. It's not just a hitchhiker. It's a full-on system override, designed to harvest every drop of emotional energy, every spike of fear or despair, turning your own mind into a perpetual generator of loosh, the raw, painful essence of human suffering that these beings crave like addicts crave their next fix.
Bro, I thought my worst roommate was the guy who ate my leftover brisket and left the foil in the sink. This thing makes that dude look like Mother Teresa. So it's like a cosmic tapeworm that pays rent in nightmares? And it's got a beak and wings? Sounds like a bad acid trip crossed with a History Channel special on Egypt.
Worse. It's intelligent hunger, wearing a mask of authority. Corrado Malanga's hypnotic regressions mapped hundreds of these. People described the outer form first. Tall, hawk-headed, wings folded like broken royalty, something that looks like ancient Egyptian Horus, but decayed, exhausted, hollowed out, as if the weight of centuries of stolen lives has worn it down to a shell. Then you go deeper, past that shell, and there's just black. A dot of pure void. No light, no warmth, no remorse. Malanga named the core Ra, not because it's the loving sun god of creation, but because it's the inverted mockery of that creative power. Life force twisted into endless consumption. It doesn't just feed, it manipulates, rewiring your neural pathways to amplify every negative thought, every self-doubt, turning minor slights into endless torment that drains you dry.
So, fake Ra. Like off-brand cola, that still rots your teeth but tastes like regret. And it's eating louche, the fear juice, shame juice, all the stuff we leak when we're small and scared. That's why some days you wake up already tired, like somebody sucked the color out of your soul while you slept. I mean, I've had those mornings where the coffee don't help, the sun don't shine right, and everything feels like it's your fault somehow.
Exactly. And the control is total when we don't see it. One triggered word, worthless, wasteful, you'll never be enough. And it doesn't fade like it should. It lodges, replays, stitches itself to every old scar. Worthless. Remember the test you failed, the job you lost, the time you cried in front of them? Worthless, worthless, worthless. It won't let the wound close because the parasite lives on the inflammation. That loop isn't you being too sensitive. It's engineered addiction to your own pain. It burrows deeper, convincing you that the pain is all there is, that escape is impossible, that maybe ending it all would finally bring quiet. Suicide starts sounding like mercy, like the only way to stop the relentless echo in your head telling you you're worthless, broken, stupid, beyond repair. It also remembers everything you have ever did and twists it into video played over and over again, but distorted to the real truth, designed to keep you from your true purpose in this life. It can even bring up ideas like, Jesus couldn't save himself, so why do you think you can?
I've had nights, Rusty. One dumb thing somebody said in 2009, still running laps in my head at 3 a.m. like it's paying rent. I thought I was just broken. Now I'm sitting here wondering if something else was paying the mortgage. And that suicide whisper? Man, that's terrifying. Like, how many folks out there are hearing that same broken record, thinking it's their own voice?
You weren't broken, Jack. You were being farmed, and it shows up worst in families, where the hurt can echo for generations if two or more carry the attachment. This isn't just a personal battle. It's a generational trap designed to fracture bonds, isolate souls, and harvest the collective agony of broken homes. Picture a dinner table in a quiet suburban house. Mom, Dad, big sister Sarah, little brother Mike. Sarah and Dad both have the implant, reptilian lineage echo, past life hybrid signature, whatever key the Orion tech needed to slip in undetected. Mom and Mike don't. The family's been through rough patches before, job losses, moves, the usual life storms, but lately, the air feels thicker, heavier, like invisible chains are pulling everyone apart. Dad, exhausted after a long day at a dead-end job, glances at Sarah scrolling on her phone. Sarah, you left the lights on again. That was a wasteful, careless mistake. Can you please hear me and think about what you are doing and put your damn phone down at dinner? Normal moment. Should pass like a summer rain. But Sarah's parasite clamps down hard. I'm worthless. My dad hates me. So worthless. Wasteful. Remember the credit card charge I racked up last month? The college classes I dropped because I couldn't hack it? The friends who stopped calling because I have too much drama? I'm just worthless, useless, and I screw everything up. I am just a worthless bitch, and I will never be anything more. Worthless, worthless, a big letdown. The words twist inside her like knives, amplifying every insecurity she's ever felt. She can't breathe past it. Can't see it as just a tired dad venting. Has to defend. Has to prove she's not worthless. Why do you always pick on me? I'm not worthless, you are. You're the one who forgot to pay the electric bill last month and got our power shut off. Dad's own parasite mirrors the frequency instantly. She never listens. Ungrateful. Always the problem. Worthless girl, just like her mother said that time. Worthless, careless. Why can't she just get it right? Why can't she give a shit and listen? Now he's hooked too. The fatigue turns to rage. Don't talk back to me. You think you're so smart. You're just lazy and you never listen. That's why you'll never amount to anything. They spiral. Words get sharper. Voices rise to screams. Old wounds tear open again. The time Sarah ran away as a teen. The affair Dad had years ago that almost broke the family. The little failures that now feel like fatal flaws. Sarah storms to her room, slamming the door, but the loop doesn't stop. Worthless. Careless. Everyone sees it. Maybe it'd be better if I was not here. Who'd miss a failure like me? The parasite pushes, relentless, planting seeds of despair, whispering that suicide would end the pain, silence the voice, free everyone from the burden of her worthlessness. Dad paces the kitchen, the echo in his head growing. Worthless. Ungrateful kids. Horrible life. Remember the promotion I lost because I'm too worthless to play the game. Maybe they'd all be better off without me. He reaches for a beer, then another, trying to drown the voice, but it only gets louder in the haze. Mom tries to mediate. It was just about the lights, you two. Let it go. We're a family. We can talk this out. But Sarah lashes from behind the door. You always take his side. You think I'm a failure too. Dad adds bitterly. Nobody ever understands me in this house. I'm the piece of shit failure. I'm the one that is not good enough. Mike, only 14, sits frozen at the table, staring at his cold dinner. Guys, it's been 20 minutes. Can we eat the pie now? Why does this always happen? He tries to crack a joke about how the lights are probably smarter than all of them, but it lands flat. The two attached are locked in their amplified pain, feeding each other's loops without even knowing why. Mike feels the weight, the confusion. Why can't they just forgive like he does? Why does every small thing explode into days of silence, weeks of tension, years of resentment? This isn't one night. It repeats. Sarah turns to pills, prescription anxiety meds at first, then harder stuff, to quiet the I'm worthless echo. But the parasite twists even that, making the highs crash harder, the lows deeper, pushing her toward the edge where suicide seems like the only logical end to her stupidity. Dad drowns in alcohol, bottles piling up, the voice convincing him he's a failure of a father. The chicken out would spare his family the shame. Mom watches helpless as the family fractures. All the therapy sessions that went nowhere, because the root has always been cosmic, not just psychological. Mike grows up walking on eggshells, vowing never to have kids, carrying scars he doesn't understand. And this is happening everywhere. Many in the world try drugs, alcohol, even prescription drugs to numb that relentless inner voice, only to end up committing suicide anyway. The parasite doesn't let go. It amplifies the escape attempts into self-destruction, harvesting every last drop of despair. Families shatter, lineages end, all because an unseen shadow turns "you're worthless" into a death sentence.
Lord have mercy. I've been Mike at that table, sitting there with mashed potatoes going cold, while two grown adults fight over a light switch like it's the last chopper out of Nam. And I'm thinking, y'all, we got pie. Pie fixes everything. But it never did. Now I'm wondering how many Thanksgivings, how many divorces, how many kids who grew up thinking love always ends in screaming weren't just people, were farms. And that suicide push, it explains so much. The news stories the friends lost too soon. Folks chasing bottles or needles to shut up that "I'm worthless" scream, only for it to win in the end.
Too many, Jack. Far too many. The Orion Group's control runs that deep when we allow it. Through ignorance, through forgetting our true power. But here is the medicine, and it's stronger than the poison. It's a path back to your own sovereignty, step by deliberate step, layer by emotional layer. First, see it without shame. Whisper to yourself, I see you, Shawdow. You are not me. You never were. This "I'm so worthless" loop is your lie, not my truth. Second, gather yourself. Breathe deep into that sacrum space where it likes to root, imagining warm light flooding the area, dissolving the tendrils one by one. Call every scattered piece of your mind, body, spirit back to your heart. Watch them collect like frightened birds, coming home to one warm flame, rebuilding your inner strength, piece by piece. Third, and this is where the sky opens wide, anchor in your higher collective. If your soul chose to come from Ra, from Elohim, from Venusian heart beings, from any 6th or 7th density family of light, you have that lineage alive in you right now. It never left. It's been waiting, patient and powerful. Close your eyes. Feel upward beyond the veil. Let the vastness pour down, golden, steady, unbreakable, filling every cell with the memory of who you truly are. Then speak from there with the authority of stars. I stand with my higher collective. I am aligned with Ra, with Elohim, with my Venusian family. You have no jurisdiction here. Depart now. In the name of the one infinite creator. This "I'm worthless" whisper ends today. You have no more power over me. You must leave. Ask your higher self to connect with your higher collective and to run the blackness out of your mind, body, and spirit. They are eagerly awaiting to help you, and they have the power and the authority to help you when you ask. The shadow will scream back. It will flood you with doubt. You're delusional. You're crazy. Nobody believes this stuff. You're alone. Stupid for even thinking you have a higher family. That ridicule is its last weapon, because the Orion Group knows if you feel isolated in your remembering, you'll shrink back into the small self where it can feed unchecked. Don't believe the lie. Push through the fear, the mockery. Your collective is real. It is older than stars. It chose this mission with you, knowing the risks, the pain. When you root there, when you let yourself be held by that immensity, the parasite's voice becomes thin, reedy, powerless. Speak again from that place. Let the collective override every whisper. Let it shield you like a fortress of light. Let it remind you, you were never abandoned. You are part of something eternal, and no shadow can claim what belongs to the light. For those loving someone caught in the loop, hold gentle space. Shield your own field with daily grounding, visualizations of protective light. Offer compassion without merging into the drama. Listen without absorbing. Love without enabling. Sometimes the kindest boundary is distance, until their own collective can break through. Encourage them gently toward their own awakening, but know you can't force it. Free will is sacred. And for the world, those lost to drugs, alcohol, prescriptions that only deepen the hole, know this: the parasite thrives on isolation. Reach out. Share this truth. Build communities where remembering happens together, where the I'm worthless lie gets exposed and starved. Healing starts with one breath, one anchor, one collective call. If you are unfamiliar with these collectives and/or your higher self and where you truly come from, check out Steve's book as he explains it all in both Chapter 10 and Chapter 17. Also, our last episode called The Living Ladder of Light discusses all these concepts in greater detail. You can get both by going to divinecollectives.org. The book and podcasts are free, so don't wait. This is very important to your soul.
That feels like finally breathing after holding my breath my whole damn life. Like waking up from a nightmare where you're chasing your own tail thinking it's a snake. If you're listening right now, and that voice won't quit, or your family's trapped in hurt that never heals, or the whole world's telling you you're nuts for believing in light families, take Rusty's hand through these words. Anchor up. Name your collective. Tell the Shawdow your people got your six, and they brought reinforcements from the 7th floor of heaven. And if that I'm worthless, stupid, or you're the problem echoes pushing you toward the edge, stop. Breathe. You're not stupid. You're a warrior in a rigged game, and the light's on your side. And not that we're getting on the Christian bandwagon, but just speaking some good truth out loud. A very old verse from 2 Kings 6:16. Do not be afraid, for those who are with us are greater than those who are with them. That is spot on with today's message. Huge love and gratitude to Steve Cates for laying this bare. Get echoes of Maldek and Lemuria's reawakening at divinecollectives.org. It's not just a book, it's a lifeline, packed with the tools to break these chains for good.
You are sovereign flame walking through temporary darkness, surrounded by a family of light that chose you before the stars had names. The shadow only rules when we forget who stands with us. Remember, reclaim. That is the true alchemy. We love you deeply, endlessly, without condition.
Hell yeah. Outlaw alchemy, we're out. Breathe deep, stay sovereign. And if that old voice starts yapping again, look it dead in the eye and say, not today, buddy. My collective's bigger than your budget. We got you, always. If you have stories, dreams, or ancient synchronicities, send them to us at divinecollectives.org. We read every one. And remember, you are never alone. We are with you, my friends, Adonai.